Not really matching, but similar. This one's different, it's lacy. And this one's whatever material that is. Okay, that's annoying. But the reason why I'm wearing two different ones is because the matching one, I can't find the matching one for this shiny material one. And the matching one for this one, the lacy one, yes, I can find, but it's a mess. It's just really loose and baggy. So when I wear it, it just goes, it just droops. So I will have to wear these together. But they look so similar, I don't think it really matters. And I've had this washed in the hopes that it would tighten it, but no, it doesn't work. It's been tied as tight as it can go. Doesn't work. I've tied it around, or had my mum tied it around with these things to make it tight. Doesn't work. You know, like this way you go round like that and then round again the other way. No, it doesn't work. I mean, this is pretty loose, to be honest, but it's not as bad. Thank you. I'll do a catwalk 1 minute. I love it. I've just worn it for the first time this year because I had this idea of an all-in-one that looks like this. All-in-one. Or jumpsuit or catsuit or whatever you want to call it, because I don't know what they're called. Apparently it's the fashion at the moment to have like an all-in-one jumpsuit thing. I've seen people go out in them. Not many people, but I've seen the odd one. This is the kind of thing we could wear at House of Fluff. I can't speak. Fluff a puffy tail. I love black and white shit. Originally when I wore this outfit, because it's cool, it is kind of warmish, but not warm. I wore this, which is called a shrug. For sleeves, because I couldn't find an actual black long sleeve top to go with this, or even a white one. So basically when I'd go out in this, you know, when the weather gets warmer and I can go out without a coat, I'll wear it like this. And when it's really warm, just before it gets to the you have to wear shorts warm, I would wear it obviously without the bolero, but I'm going to put the bolero back on now because I'm quite, or shrug, sorry, because my arms are getting cold. So either long sleeve top or this. And I'm wearing this medallion with it. This, I think, came with the outfit. This is part of actually a costume, a gangster, like a sexy gangster costume, which I got from a lingerie shop when I was 15. My mum actually let me have it, so, and it came with the bottoms as well. But the bottoms was a skirt, which I don't really like. It's more like a pencil skirt type thing. It had like buttons here, and it was like pinstriped as well, like this bit. And this is like, as you can see, a halter neck. So it is technically a costume, but you can kind of wear it as a top as well as a costume. So this outfit is, I actually wore this to a Halloween, not really party, but it was like Halloween theme Zumba back in 2018. And I was fatter then. But I wore it with my small tail. I didn't wear it with this tail. I think this one looks better, but I didn't have this one back then, so I wore it with my small one, my Therian one, which was grey, so it didn't really go. Little tiny one it was. On a keychain or a hook that you can hook to your pants, so I hooked it to the leg. I think I wore tights actually. I thought I could get away with tights at Zumba, so I think I actually wore it with tights, not leggings. Are you like... I'm glad someone said fox though and not cat. That's awesome. I suppose you might say that. That's pretty cool. So a lot of you probably don't know about a thing called the Chateau. It's this really glamorous organisation whereby this young woman, set up this hotel to be like this BDSM pet play, dressing up as an animal, furry paradise. So people could go there and act and dress like mainly cats, to be honest. And they wore these glamorous fluffy outfits with feather bows and everything. It was really nice. And then peignoir things. I think they're called peignoirs. And if you don't know what one of them is, they're like this delicate looking nightie or dressing gown with fur. How rude, I'm getting less people watching now. Rude. It went from 5 to 3. How shit. And don't leave without giving a like, that's rude. Isn't it? It certainly is. Anyway, I was hoping to make my own one. But it's going to be called House of Fluff. And you don't have to be a cat, you can be any animal pretty much. Especially fluffy things like poodles. I'm going to put the food on now. House of Fluff. It's where you can go and be cute and fluffy. The furries. Fees. Fluffy creature. Oh right, yeah, I don't have a bin bag, so yeah, throw it on the floor. What can you do? I'll put a bin liner in it in about. I just forget to because I forget, I get distracted. So yay, that's always fun. Bring the camera over here, sorry about that. So imagine like I'll just pretend this is like an all-in-one. That'd be great, like a cat suit. So I don't really have a cat suit. I used to have them when I was younger, and they were always in this spandexy material and not see-through, which is always good. And they kind of hook under your feet. I don't know what you call those. It's when you can put your feet through them. Kind of like tights, but not really. At least I know what it's called now. I didn't know what it was called. I thought Kitty Hotel, I kept thinking. It's a brilliant idea. It's a shame nobody's like interested in it. So far I've like talked about it, no one's really picked up on it, to be honest. It is a shame because there are people out there that seem to manage to get people. Like, have you heard of these people? I have. These people, you know these people? Yeah, I have. I've heard of these people. And they somehow managed to get people on their side and to do anything they want, even like ridiculous things, like, you know, do bad things. Now shut up. I'd wear it in low rise for Patreon. Yeah, see, now that, as my mum would say. We were talking one time and she went, I don't know, I must have said something, and she went, ah, there you see, now that, or whatever, I don't know. I've got that on record and it's really funny. I don't like to say it, but yeah, I hear about these people. I don't know, they somehow managed to brainwash everybody into doing their bidding. But even like ridiculous, horrific, horrendous stuff. And I'm like, how did they do it? I don't know. Like, I can't get people to donate to me to help me build a fund to move out, which a lot of people seem to manage to get people to do. I can't do that. How the heck am I supposed to be a cult leader when I can't get people to do simple stuff? But there's people out there who can somehow manage to get people to fucking brutalize people for them and commit people to mental hospitals. There's this woman, right? And she managed to get all these doctors and lawyers on her side. So she actually managed to get one of them to leave her a mental hospital in their will. Like, they're not even related. It's like, how do these people do that? I want to be one of those people who can get people to do whatever they want. I don't know how they do it. Like, these are intelligent people as well. It's not even like they're gullible people. Like, they just prey on gullible people like you expect. You expect them to sort of play on gullible people who want a thing. Like, say, orphans who've never had that family dynamic thing that they usually all want. And you get people sort of preying on that, sort of promising them like this family-esque community. And sometimes a literal family. Like in roleplay circles, when I was advertising and looking in roleplay Facebook groups, there would be people advertising like a roleplay messenger chat group, and it's like a family roleplay thing. And I noticed that seemed to be the most popular, aside from all the sex stuff as well. And there was a lot of like grown-ass people that like to act like babies and children. And it's not a fetish thing, it's like a legitimate, they're like age regressing because I guess they either didn't have a proper childhood or a proper family, or they miss having a childhood and a family. So they're quite a lot older, like in the 20s, 30s, 40s and 50s. And I should imagine that kind of people would be the type that people would prey upon, with the promise of, oh, family, you know, I'm going to do a family role. And I saw it happen a lot of the time in that sort of thing as well, like even just as simple as roleplay. And I did the same thing because I was passionate about the subject, which was the mafia roleplay. Me and Don Lino, we did that. There was Jeremiah, and he was Don Lino, the mafia boss, and I was his son in the roleplay as well as in real life. And we advertised our mafia, but no one was interested for ages. But then we got loads of people suddenly being interested. It was weird. And we got loads of people, quite a number, and they all, after a while, raved about how great the role play was, how great the group was and everything. And everybody loved everybody in it and got along so well. But then suddenly we'd add people who seemed cool at first, but then they'd sabotage it. And they'd actually somehow manage to turn all our members against us and make them all believe that we were like dictators or something. And they all believed them and would leave, or be less loyal to us even if they didn't leave. And it was like so shit. And it's like, how do these people do it? How do they manage to do that? Like, turn people against other people. I don't even know how they do it. Like I say, I'm proper I'm proper thick me. I don't know how people manipulate other people into getting people to do stuff. And if I do manage to do it, it's pretty much by accident. Like, my mum keeps going on about how I apparently manipulate her. And, oh, I know what you're doing. She'll say stuff like, oh, I know what you're doing. And she there's one voice recording thing where she says, I'm not a manipulator. You're a manipulator. I'm like, I have no clue how to manipulate someone. I have fuck all clue apart from maybe the basics, like begging someone to do something. Or saying, oh, I really need this. And maybe telling a sob story that's real. Like, it's always genuine with me. I'm really genuine. So if I'm really upset at something, I will express that and say I need this and I need that. And maybe someone who's really nice will do that thing that I've asked them for. Like, I remember saying I was hungry once, and this guy said, oh, okay, I'll give you some money for some food. Like at first he was going to order food for me and have it delivered or something. But I told, I can't remember what I said, but I said something. And he ended up giving me money for it instead. Because I just thought it would be more awkward if he, because he didn't live near here, so it would be awkward if he was to order it and have it delivered here. So he gave me money to do it. And it's like, I didn't even plan it. I just said I'm hungry. It's like, I just happened to say I was hungry, and he was like, okay, I'll give you money for food. So if I manage to get someone to do something for me, it's just by accident, not me manipulating them or something. But as much as people would probably think that it's a bad thing when they hear stories like that, I'm here thinking that's amazing. It's amazing that these people manage to get people to do big stuff. Now, not even little stuff, like big stuff for them that is unethical or evil and cruel. And they've seen nothing wrong with it, but they somehow managed to brainwash them into thinking it's a good idea. And I have no idea how. It's like, it's happened to me. I didn't even realize it happened to me. I told you on those other recordings that I made that my mum has somehow managed to get me to stick around all these years and not do what other people at a certain age would do, which is they'd be getting ready to like build a career or get a job and save up and want to move out or want to move on to college or whatever, university. I don't know which people do. I don't know the difference, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Again, remember, I'm thick as a plank, so I don't know the difference between college and university, except that university is usually people move somewhere far away to go there, and it's probably like advanced, like level up from college. I know it's some kind of higher education anyway, but I have no clue. Maybe university is more of an American thing and college is a British thing. That's probably it. So I used to think all these things were different, and then later on I learned that it's actually this is an American thing and that's a British thing, which I didn't know before. I just thought they were a step up from each other. So college you go to when you're like 16, 17, and then university you go to when you're older. But then in like a lot of American shows, they go from high school to university. So then I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's an American thing, which I've just thought of like now. I didn't consider it before. But yeah, I don't know. I have no clue. Never thought of these things before. But yeah, they did. So most people at my age, so like 16 or whatever, would be planning to go to college or university or whatever it is that people do. I'll go straight from that to moving out and getting a job. Whereas I didn't do that. And of course you can quite imagine I quite regret it now, because I'm now trapped in this situation and have been for the past 10 years, and I've pretty much wasted my youth. Like, I've not got much more of it left. It's like, yeah, I'm still young, but I feel like I've wasted 10 years of it. And now I've got another 10 years left to go before I'm old and unattractive. So I have like less time to do stuff. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting to a point where I am getting a little bit sort of, I hate this word, but a bit desperate. Just because I have probably 10 years left before I'm ugly and old and no one's going to fancy me anymore. And I want to do all the stuff that most people would do in their 20s and teens, which is go to pubs and clubs and parties and bars and shit, which is where they go to sort of socialise and meet men and meet friends, meet girls, meet whatever, you know, make friends in the first place. So, you know, I do have friends, but they're all far away, which is annoying. And every single one of them has been like 4 hours away. Which sucks. So although I have friends, I have a kind of online support system, but no one local. So I was thinking, I wonder why that is. And I thought I've kind of learned, I've observed most people make their friends in school, college, work, university, and pubs, clubs, parties, and bars. And of course, I don't do any of that stuff. I go to the odd party and event every now and again, but there's not really much going on. So you know, when I hear about something, I'll go to it. But it's not like you have to go to somewhere like regularly, like every day or every week or something. Like even furries, like they make their furry friends by going to regular meets and conventions and stuff. And again, I've never done any of that. I wanted to, but of course because I'm not very independent, I've always relied on my mum to sort of take me to these things, and she didn't want to. Or I would go on about money, like not having money. So. And I got to a point a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, and I thought I was doomed. Like, this is my life. You know, being my mum's carer, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't get out of the situation. I always thought there's nothing I could do to get out of the situation, when I realised I was not really happy about it. I mean, I've never been happy about it since day one, but of course I'd never admit that at the time because I felt guilty. I felt like people would judge me if I didn't do it because it's my mum, and also be willing and want to do it. So if, say, for instance, my mum was to say, well, I can't cope anymore, I need you to help out, be my carer pretty much, will you be my carer? I felt obliged to say, yeah, even though I didn't want to. I will admit, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really want to. I thought this sounds like it's going to be a lot of work, and it sounds like it's going to be the kind of work I don't like, which is basically being like a maid or a servant or something. But I agreed to it because I thought, if I refuse, my mum is going to think I'm a horrible daughter. You know, she's going to think I'm a horrible human being, and so would other people. And I guess I really cared about what other people thought of me, and if they thought I was a really bad person. I mean, mainly, obviously, it was my mum that I cared about. So my mum thinking I'm a horrible person and a horrible daughter. And I thought, if I said no, if I refused, I thought she might kick me out because I'm of no use. Like, what's the point of me living here? And I thought she might kick me out. And back then, when this first happened, when I was 20 or whatever, 22, I wasn't ready. Like, I was too scared to move out. I didn't have any plans. I wasn't prepared in any way, mentally, emotionally, physically, to move out. I didn't think I'd survive out there because, well, my mum has pretty much single-handedly groomed me and made me believe that I couldn't survive out there, that it's dangerous, it's scary, and you need to be like a math genius to survive out there as well. Because, you know, growing up, people put a lot of stock in math and how you needed to know it, and of course I was, there's a name for it now, arithmetically challenged. It sounds a lot better than fucking retarded and stupid. But yeah, when it comes to math, yeah, okay, I'm retarded and stupid. But in everything else, in any other subject, I'm a genius. Just math, I'm shit at. But people branded you as being stupid and basically say you're not going to survive out there if you don't know math, if you're not good at math. So of course I was dead scared. I thought because I wasn't even willing to learn. Like, I probably, if I learned and practiced, I'd probably be good at it, which I did become good at it eventually. Like, it all clicked, as my mum said. She said one day it'll probably click with you, and it actually did. Especially when I saw a chart. I actually saw a visual, because I'm a visual person. I'm not an abstract person. I know, fuck all, if you try and describe a concept to me, I probably won't, unless I've experienced a concept, I won't know what the bloody hell you're going on about. Same if you were to give me directions, I wouldn't know what you're going on about, but you show me a visual chart of it, visual chart of math, visual map, I'll know what you're talking about then, you know. So I saw a chart of math for the first time when I was like, I don't know, 17. And I thought, oh, okay, math makes sense. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, it makes sense. There's a pattern to it. It's great. But as a child, I didn't think of it like that. It's just, right, 1 plus 1 equals something, and it's like, obviously I knew that one. 2. And I remember these kids when I kind of bragged about being intelligent, like more intelligent than them, because I was like dead proud. And my mum used to always say that homeschool children are smarter than school children, and school children always come out like stupid and stuff. So I will admit I kind of bragged a little. And I remember these kids, they decided to test my intelligence, and of course they always pick math problems to test your intelligence. So they kept asking me like, what's 1 add 1? And I'd say 2. Like, that's easy. Like, even if you're not a genius, you kind of know that one. And I remember they'd say, no, it's not, it's 11. 1 add 1, 11. 1 add 1. So I thought, oh, that makes sense. So they were pretty much tricking me. And then a little bit down the line, I thought, haha, if they ask me again, I know what to say. That makes sense. Like, I was literally taught 1 add 1 is 2. And these kids actually managed to manipulate me. See what I mean? They're all cunning and conniving, all these people. Even kids. Like, I'm not. I'm innocent as anything. And these kids are all, like, fucking conniving and devious and manipulative. And I don't know how they must just be born like that or something. I don't know. It must be a gene in the head or something, and it makes them that way. But I noticed a lot of kids were a lot more independent and a lot more like confident and brave, whereas I was dead shy and dead like scared. Not like rationally scared, irrationally scared, like more like scared of being humiliated. So I was shy that I would humiliate myself. I was worried that I'd humiliate myself if or get told off or made to feel stupid. It's more like about the humiliation factor for me. So if I did anything, I would never do anything that I deemed that I would get in trouble for by a grown-up. So I never challenged grown-ups. And if I did do something they didn't like, I'd be like, oh shit. Sometimes I might do something in all innocence, like not realise it would upset them, and I'd do something and get upset, and I'd be like, oh shit, I've fucked up. So I would never dream of going against an adult when I was a child and being brave and confident. I'm like, oh, I don't care about the consequences. Like, all these kids seem to be all like, dead. I don't know, it's like dead brave. Like, I was dead scared of grown-ups, and they're like dead brave these days. But anyway, so it happened again, where I kind of bragged a little bit about being intelligent, and they asked me the question again, what's 1 add 1? So this time I said 11, thinking, I'm not going to get caught out again. And he was like, no, that's not. And then his friend said, oh, that's right, that's right. So basically making me think it's right. And then I asked my mum and dad later on, I said, these kids have kind of tricked me into believing that 1 add 1 was 11. And they confirmed it is 2, 1 add 1 is 2. See how fucking gullible I was? That's the kind of child I was. Actually, I was a teenager at this point, but I was gullible, innocent, not conniving, not manipulative, not brave, not confident. I was what a child pretty much should be. Innocent. Not like all these that are dead brave and cocky and confident and act like nothing can touch them. But they've gotten hard, haven't they? They mix with the certain sort like that. They probably all start out kind of innocent. But once they're in a group, they kind of become more confident because they become more powerful. So they'll probably learn a lot of like the rebellious ways of other kids that are maybe a bit older than them and have learned a bit. And they kind of go down the route of life of crime, like just little stuff. Like doing what they did to us, like banging the fence and verbally abusing us and kicking the fence and like this. I remember I did that just for a laugh, and I bloody slipped in the mud. I thought, brilliant, if they did that, that would be fantastic. If they kicked my fence and ended up slipping in the mud like I did, that was shown. That was shown. I just did it for fun, though. I wasn't really kicking a fence. I was just pretending to. I was kind of... I wanted to sort of see what it was like on the outside, and I was pretending to be one of the hooligans, and I really kicked the fence and ended up slipping in the mud. It's like, oh yeah, it'd be brilliant if that's what happened to them. But no, I bet it doesn't. I bet it doesn't. Or they break the foot off of that. bit more fish. Anyway, sorry about that, everybody. What was I saying? I can't remember. Excuse me, I burped. Awesome. Should have this really right now. Shame everybody's fucked off. I think I am talking about something very important right now. I was always very open with it though. When I did gain more confidence when I was about 16, 17, I was a bit more obvious with my arrogance and stuff. So I will admit I would openly brag and be like, oh, how common, you're so common. I'm so rich and posh and better than you. And, you know, I was more like that. Probably what you would call an overt narcissist. Bit of a snob and all. And I will admit I did what a lot of people, it does people's head in, where you deliberately learn big words just to make yourself look more intelligent and sophisticated. I'm glad you're still here. Chateau Meow. That's adorable, by the way. Chateau Meow. So you're the one person that's watching the stream then. Awesome. Okay. So, should have the wings on as well, but maybe that would be too much. So I think this is another Jeremiah-y outfit. What do you think? So, do you want to do this Chateau Meow, House of Fluff? I think it's a good idea. I think I should be targeting the Therian audience for that, to be honest. They seem to be a bit more receptive to my ideas and stuff. I remember I told my story on my Therian one, the Therian video, and people started criticizing me, saying about me complaining and sort of. I thought, I'm not complaining, I'm just sort of like telling my story, that's all. Because I thought people who were in the same position as me would be interested in hearing that, so they didn't think they were so alone. But yeah, those people are a bit more interested in this sort of thing. I think that, to be honest with you, I think the people on this channel are just more interested in just seeing my belly and stuff. I don't think they're really interested in anything else that I have to say or do, or thoughts and opinions, which is a shame, because basically I'm being wasted around here because the people are shitheads and ignorant around here. And basically the people on this channel are not really the right audience for what I have to say and talk about. You think there would be, though, seeing as how liking fat people and stuff is also something that's a bit more unusual, a bit more rare. Do you think they'd be open to my thoughts and ideas as well? But no. So yeah, I'm still looking for my ideal audience. I know that the people from those other cults, like from that woman, it's always religious people. So of course you can use religion to sort of manipulate them, like say, well, if you don't serve me, you go to hell, sort of thing. And they get people to believe that they're the second coming of Jesus somehow. I don't know how they managed to do that. I mean, this woman started out as a medium and a yoga instructor. So a lot of people like that are into that sort of thing are probably a bit more susceptible to being manipulated, because they like all that stuff. And you can tell them any old rubbish, can't you? You can tell them any old rubbish that if you do this, do that, you'll be spiritually enlightened and your life will improve and da-da-da-da-da-da. Which it's true, by the way, but these people probably take it to the extreme. Like my mum, where she would say things that do make sense, like on everybody's scale and opinion, it would make sense, but they would take, people like my mum and these people would take it further and be even more specific. Like, yes, yoga and meditation and what's that word, like positive thinking, like I am going to earn a lot of money from this job, I am going to get the job, I am going to be successful at it, like saying stuff like that and affirmations, that does work. But these people will take it to the extreme, like, you know, you have to send me money for it to work. Like, it won't work if you don't send me money, or it won't work if you don't worship me, and if you don't serve me and bow down to me and kiss my feet. You know, they do stuff like that. My mum didn't do that specifically, by the way, but she did a similar thing to sort of keep me here and keep me, because she already knew I was unconfident and probably a bit more gullible than the usual child. So she would say all this stuff to keep me that way and keep me unconfident. Like, she would basically tell me all men are out to rape and murder me, you know, that sort of thing. So don't go to pubs and clubs and bars and parties and whatnot. So from what I see, it's the bloody women that are predators, you know. Do you know what? I was out with a friend in Staley Bridge, and a lot of nightlife going on. I was actually out for the first time at night, so I saw the nightlife. And all the women were dressed up in like fucking bras. And it's like, and these very same women who dress in skimpy outfits. There was one girl who had a nipple showing. Like, it was see-through, this bra thing. It was like just lacy and you could see her nipples. It's like, if men are perverted to you, what do you fucking expect? But they're the same women who'll be like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't objectify me. Don't sexualize. Don't treat me like a sexual object. Don't. It's like, you're dressed like a fucking sexual object. You can't tell people what to think or say or do when you're dressed like the very thing you don't want people to treat you like. Sexual object. It's like, I get what they're saying. They want to dress however they want, but men don't. Men don't get treated like sexual objects because they don't dress like the fuckers. Men don't go, oh yes, I can dress however I want, and I can wear skimpy clothes. But they don't, though. They don't do that, and they don't talk about it. They don't go around showing the nipples, and the only time they go shirtless is if it's too hot. Which I do think that's unfair, though, that men can do that, but... Like, it was cold weather, though. Like, these women were showing their body off, and it was cold weather. So they're doing it deliberately to get men all horned up, but then say, you can't touch, or you can't sexualise me. They're just cock teasers, a lot of them. But that's their power, you see. They want that. That's the way women have power. They want the kind of power whereby they can dress however they want, show off the nipples and bum and arse and everything. Bum and arse, same thing. But they want people to behave themselves. And it's like, well, men have this really high sex drive, and you're just revving it up even more than it already is, because men are already apparently horny like all the time, even if it's just like a low level horny. But if you're going to do this, it's going to rev it up even more, and you expect them to control themselves. But, you know, you don't realise it's stronger in men than in women. Like, women can get really horny, but they can control themselves, whereas it's harder for men to. Now, I'm not saying it's an excuse for men to behave that way, by the way. You know, like go around raping or touching. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they're not helping. Like, these women are not helping. It's like, you've got to think that, you know, you're tempting these men, you're teasing these men, and these men are like really trying to sort of control themselves, and it's just harder for them. It's probably making them go insane inside. So you're not really helping them, and you're not helping yourself. If they do something, they might do it because they're drunk, or they might do it because testosterone makes men do crazy things, apparently. They just run on instinct at that point. So you kind of just got to help. If you want men to be less pervy and creepy, you've kind of got to help yourself by dressing appropriate. Like, you can dress nice, you can show a bit of skin, fair enough, when you're on a night out, but that's a bit much, wearing a fucking bra or whatever. I mean, it's like a lacy sort of negligee that they wear, and they're showing off all this, and they're showing the boobs and nipples and everything, and then they might be wearing like really high leg cut thingy shorts or skirts or something thingy. Might be nice to see, though, I don't know. God. There we go. Right. By the way, I know this stuff because I've actually talked to people who have transitioned. So they've actually gone from being men to taking women's hormones. And they said that they were horny all the time and it was like insane. Whereas since they've taken estrogen, they're like less horny. So apparently that is a thing. So anyway, it's kind of good people transitioning, you know, because then they get to experience both sides of the coin. And there was one bloke who decided to take it upon himself to go on dating sites and stuff as a woman. And blokes forget how hard it is to be a woman online and getting all these dick pics and getting sexualized. And he actually said that, you know, it was awful. He hated it and he felt like less of a person. He felt like nobody respected him, nobody wanted him as a person, and it actually felt really bad. And he got like mental health issues from it. And you do. You do. It does affect you. But men don't realise what it's like because they do all this stuff and they don't realise how it actually affects women. So I thought, you know, maybe I'm not just put on this earth to just be mum's carer. Like once I thought that was my only purpose in life. I feel like my purpose is also to spread messages like this from the knowledge that I've gained and spread it back. The problem is I just don't have the following really. So it's a shame. It is a shame. Oh no. No, that's wrong. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, bollocks. Oops. Never mind. I wasn't concentrating. Well, got a bit of water in there, but nothing much.